Oh, here comes Joe.
Well, it becomes 1.8 for the fire ambulance.
Yeah.
So
Okay, at 6 o'clock, I'd like to call the Green Lake Township Board of Trustees regular meeting to order, along with the budget public hearing, June 10th, 2025, at 5:30 PM.
There you go.
Judy, can you do a roll call, please?
Radke,
Present.
West,
here.
McDonald. Biondo.
Here.
Merrick,
Here.
Biganowski,
Here.
and Kramer here.
We have a quorum, and before we proceed on to the next step, if you have a smart device, cell phone, or whatever it might be, I'd ask that you put it on vibrate or silent. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Does any board member have any item they wish to add or remove or alter on said agenda?
Did you come up with anybody for the airport that we need to put on the agenda tonight?
It's already on the agenda. It's already on the agenda.
Unpostponed.
Oh, we'll do it there?
Airport manager follow-up.
Okay.
Make a
Under-
motion, we approve the agenda as
Under new business, I would like to add holiday hours for Green Lake Township.
with the addition of holiday hours.
Under Memorial Park cameras.
Okay. Okay, holiday hours. Okay. We have a motion by Merrick to approve the agenda with the addition of holiday hours under Memorial, to be placed under Memorial Park camera added request.
Support.
I heard Sherry, so motion by West, or supported by West. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which contains the minutes of 5/13/25 and 5/27/25, treasurer's report, and bills. Is there any member of this board that would like any item removed from the consent calendar?
I'd like to pull the May 13th minutes and place it under holiday hours, please.
Okay.
I'd like to do the other minutes.
How about both minutes, sir?
Okay. Anything else from this board? Anything from the staff? Anything from the public? Okay, at this point in time, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of the minutes of 5/13/25 and 5/27/25 to be placed under
New business.
holiday hours under new business, respectively.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Merrick. Is there support?
Second.
We have a second by West. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
West,
Yes.
McDonald. Biondo.
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. The next item would be reports. I see that we have Chief Case in the audience. We have your written report on both aspects. Is there anything in addition you would like to state?
Good, so just a couple updates. We did have a structure fire in the township last Wednesday. Completed the investigation with insurance carriers today and are working with the homeowner to mitigate that. Also, we have one of our ambulances that's out of service. We had a electrical issue with that vehicle last week. We started an insurance claim, so we got a hold of our insurance carrier. And the plan is to have that taken to Holland tomorrow. They are gonna try to get it right in to see if we can remedy the situation. It's making it out of service right now. So I've been in contact with Blair Township because we start the concert series this week. Starts at the Arts Academy, which we provide standby for, and they're gonna. We do have a rental clause in our insurance policy, so they've agreed to allow us to use that for those standby events. So we're working through that. Hopefully we'll have a better idea maybe at the end of this week or next week on what the status of that ambulance is. And that's our one that we had rechassied in 19. So
What
that's
do we call that one? That's our backup one, right?
yeah, yep.
What do you call it? The
Bravo.
Yeah, Bravo, yep. So, yeah, we're gonna work through that. So, the only other thing is, on the, report that I have for you guys is a budget request, for capital. So I guess we can address that one first. So the capital request is, within the budget line item under capital, and that's to purchase a UTV. So this will be in conjunction to work on wildland fires, to be able to be utilized. The skid that we're gonna, that I have proposed will also be able to transport a person. So an incident, we had an incident about 3 weeks ago on Mud Lake Trail, to which we have access issues obviously back in there, and pretty much the only vehicle we can access back in there is either the brush truck or my SUV. So this would make it capable of transporting a patient out to an ambulance or out of that area. So that's on there. The third, or the last item are thermal imaging cameras. So our one on the engine is about 18 years old. So if you can imagine the technology in your cell phone of using an 18-year-old cell phone, probably not gonna get much work. So this will be to replace the one that's on the engine. That'll go on the new engine once we get that, and then one for the pumper tanker. So thermal imaging camera obviously helps us determine or find fires or victims in fires. So that's a capital request. So I guess I'll take questions. Go ahead, Dave.
You have a trailer for the UTV?
That's on here. So the third thing is that on there is a UTV trailer.
We didn't have one before?
No. So this will be specifically for that truck or that SUV, UTV.
Now, are you looking at, where are you looking at using this money from that gift?
I mean, that's there, but we've got it within the capital
Okay.
line item too.
Yeah, it was
Yep, we
planned.
haven't spent anything out of the capital.
Yeah, and this UTV, if I recall correctly, is very similar, if not close to being identical to a recently purchased one with our
Yeah,
neighbors.
operationally, yep, Blair Township just replaced their mule that they've had probably close to 20 years. Long Lake has the Kubota, just like it. The Kubotas are pretty standard for UTVs. Inland's got a little bit different, but it's still a UTV. So I think Kubota's our best commercial available UTV. We priced, Eric actually at Blair Township did a lot of background with some of the other brands, but I think the Kubota is a pretty solid platform.
What vehicle's pulling it?
It'll be able to be pulled with a brush truck or the Suburban.
I make the motion that we authorize Chief to do the purchase that he's requested in the amount of $60,300 to be, funds to be taken out of the capital account number 205-336-970000.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Kramer, supported by Merrick, to authorize the purchase of the capital as outlined by Chief Case, not to exceed $60,300 to be removed, taken from the account of 205-336-970000. Any discussion? Paul?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Maybe a couple things.
Yeah.
So right now, we have a proposed budget of $150,000 for capital. Are you requesting to increase that by this amount?
No,
This would be out of this year's.
so this
budget.
is out of this year's.
Well, so this year says,
90,000.
It's 90.
and nothing's been allocated?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd anticipated that
It answers
either,
everything, including, are you talking about next year's budget?
Well, the engine payments have not started yet because we don't have it yet. And we were anticipating having it sometime this spring, and that got waylaid, so.
What's the motion again?
To authorize Chief Case to purchase the capital as outlined in his request.
So why do we have to act on it at all? It's in his budget, he's got a capital, can he pull the trigger on that by himself?
Not the amount.
It's over $5,000.
That's our
His
purchase.
capital budget, over $5,000, we have to approve it.
Anything over 5,000, we, the board, have to approve according to our policy.
Yep.
You helped write it, Dave. That plow that you're gonna get, what are you gonna do with that? I know what you're gonna use it for, like if you have to go out in the winter, but you're getting a trailer and all that, where's it gonna be and how's it gonna get around? Or is it gonna be left on the Kubota?
yeah, we'll probably leave it in the station, and if needed, I mean, we could break a trail with it, but it'll still be used around the department too.
Okay. But the trailer's gonna be able to haul it?
Yep.
That's where I was going?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So with that, any further discussion? Roll call it, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
McDonald. And Biondo.
Yes.
Thermal cameras next week, chief?
What's that?
Thermal cameras in next week?
Yeah, I think they're coming from the manufacturer, so I think they're 3 weeks out.
We'll move on to
So-
the next item, Chief,
Yep,
there.
the second item that I have on here is promotion of firefighter paramedic Miracle to captain. So currently we have myself as the chief and then Captain Fack, and this will be in addition to promoting Joe to that role. Some of those tasks that he's been working on are training, so Joe's been responsible for our training and fire investigation, as well as he takes quite a bit of the role of doing maintenance with the equipment and the trucks. So,
Is Joe aware of this?
yep, we've had that discussion.
And he actually said yes.
Don't give him too much time to think.
Okay, good. Question, Sherry?
Yeah, he said, Fack was also a captain?
Yep.
Is that common to have that many captains?
Yeah, we don't have an assistant chief, so it's well within that. Some have even lieutenants. We're not to that point yet, but yeah.
Any other
I'll make the
questions?
motion that we authorize the promotion of firefighter paramedic Joseph Miracle to the position of captain effective
Immediately?
July 1st.
That's fine.
July 1st.
It's put in the new budget for that position.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer, to confirm the promotion of Joseph Miracle Jr. to the position of captain effective July 1st. Any further discussion on said? And this one here, we can probably do with,
I'd like,
that's probably a good thing I'm sitting between you.
exactly.
She'll
I'm
still-
safe.
She'll still hit me.
Radke,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
McDonald. Biondo,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
And Kramer, yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Miracle.
Thanks for all you do.
Good luck, Chief Case. Anything else, sir?
That's all I have.
Okay, that finishes that report.
Thank you.
I see that we have our zoning administrator present. Is there anything in addition to the written report that you would like to follow up on? Okay, and our CPO had to come in a little early today, so he was unable to stay. However, we had some discussions, him and I, today. There might have been rumors of some noise happening quite loud Saturday night. And that's been, we found the source of that, and that's under an investigation at this point in time.
Are you across the road from me?
No, this one's down on Rogers Road.
The techno party.
Yeah, it was a techno/rave party.
Marv had a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't get
So that's
invited.
being looked at there. There has been some discussion in regards to activities taking place on the old railroad corridor with illicit drugs, and perhaps sidearms and firearms were involved. That's been investigated. That's an old story, but the patrols have been stepped up there at this point in time, and that particular issue has been remedied. With that being said, he's going to be rotating his hours, so it'll be later in the evening and earlier in the morning. So we're going to start getting engaged as summer is kicking into gear. So with that being said, I did hear from the county commissioners. The jail common area is closed. They are looking at some of the engineering and some of the issues that have recently surfaced there, pun intended. And so that's being looked into to see what they can do to remedy that situation. They are proceeding with the warehouse and the 911 upgrades, the Alpha Center, they are calling it at this point in time. Let's see. And that's about all I'm understand. I have no updates from MDOT on the detours that are being improved. So just bear along with us. Some of you knew more than I did, which is quite interesting. But I've reached out and to see if the communication portal could be a little bit more, could be used a little bit more with MDOT and the K and N contractors, their planned schedule. So hopefully I'll have something more to report at next meeting. And as of this afternoon, with the improvements at the intersection, we've talked about extending water mains across the road to Tom's and north and south in conjunction with the request of the fire chief. We put our request into Eagle about 6 weeks ago, and normally it takes 90 to 120 days. This afternoon, Jamie Wade of Eagle granted our permit to proceed with the water main going across the road. So
And that's a no cost to us, they said they'd do it, right?
they would do the excavate, we do the material. So
Who's gonna be in charge of it then? Who's doing the materials? Are we just providing them and they're gonna?
our engineers will be overseeing it with the installation.
Who's gonna oversee it, did you say?
Our engineers, GFA.
Okay.
Jennifer, yes.
Jennifer.
So that was a good news on a second Monday this week.
Did you, find out when the bridges are gonna be shut down on 31?
The day after Labor Day, they will be
That's
doing
the
that.
main road, but they said they were gonna shut down for a couple of weeks. The other day at the meeting, they said that it's gonna be shut down for a couple of weeks to do the two bridges, but I didn't get the days.
That's gonna be after Labor Day. Starting the Tuesday after Labor Day, the road's gonna be closed and they're gonna replace the bridges. And being that you brought this forward, and I understood this was supposed to be on the down low, but everybody at Elmer seems to be excited about the new project coming into Green Lake Township. Interlochen Center of the Arts has sanctioned a tunnel to be placed under J. Maddie Parkway. That's going to transpire right around, start August 5th. It'll be closed down for a couple weeks. The Road Commission has reached out and given its approval to shut down J. Maddie Parkway while the tunnel's being installed for the crosswalk, to replace the crosswalk activity. So there will be no longer a
Crossing
guard in that area there. But it will be, it's kind of hard to dig a hole across the whole road and they'll still authorize traffic. So they are working that out with the Road Commission. Road Commission's already given them preliminary approval, so it has to be completed before Labor Day.
They've also, the Arts Academy is giving permission to the road, or to the emergency services so that it does not affect response time.
Near as much going north and south.
They're gonna be able to go through somewhere on the Arts Academy to continue.
Through their parking lot, maybe?
Yep.
That is my understanding at this point. They could change that.
The rigs are all fitted already with RFID tags already. and they'll be on the same channel, so when the tone goes out and they know it's south, they'll have the gates opened for the emergency vehicles just to go right on through without too much delay. So that's tentative at this point in time. Elmer's has been awarded that bid, from my understanding, through the conversations this morning. With that, that's all I know on the reports. Anybody else have anything? Very good. Then we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is public comment. I would ask that you rise, go to the podium, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes and directed towards this board, myself directly. Is there any member of the public that would like to approach this podium? Yes, sir. Yeah,
All is well in the world now.
I did delay the Pledge of Allegiance just
I
a few
appreciate
seconds.
that. My hip surgery did not go as planned. Anyway, please forgive the uniform. I did not intend to come here in this
Mr.
uniform.
Caskey,
I'm sorry. Greg Caskey Senior, 11717 US 31. I'm happy to see that we're gonna step up law enforcement on 31. Coming home this afternoon, I watched some idiot in a big pickup truck pass one car before the oncoming traffic got to him. And of course, then he was in a line of about 4 cars in front of him. I'm getting tired of being stopped by accidents on that road. No comment to the fire department or the police. They're doing what they need to do. I'm just tired of the idiots. The other thing, again, not because I'm in this uniform, but I saw a post this afternoon on Facebook. And I'd like to put a call out to anyone who was a scout or had anything to do with the scout camp over in East Bay, Camp Graylick. On June 21st, they're looking for people to come out and get that place ready to be able to be used. And AmeriCorps just got pulled from helping us. So anybody that's out there, it's on Facebook under Camp Graylick. Please go out, see what they need, come out and join us. Thank you.
Mr. Caskey, before you leave, I have a request to see if a question can be asked of you.
Do you know what time they're doing that?
I want to say it's going to start at 10, and if you go sign up, they're providing lunch. And also, they've got different projects, and each project comes with the equipment that you're going to need.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
We have another one approaching the podium. I think it's 1T Scott.
Scott Richards, 11802 Fredmar. I'm here stomping for Melinda Lautner. Cherryland Board of Directors is coming up Thursday. And Melinda Lautner, she's a real firecracker, good girl. And Dean Baker is too. They're incumbents. So the new people just want to put like wind, solar, and that technology for northern Michigan's not here yet. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. We have another individual that's been vacant from behind the podium for some time.
Greg Caskey, 11711 US 31, Interlochen. I would like to thank the fire department. You guys are doing a great job. I know it's been really busy on the US 31 corridor there for a minute with the house fire and everything else, especially with the winds the way they were that day. That was quite creepy. Also, I'd like to thank our zoning administrator for taking care of a bovine situation with some, probably some new residents to Green Lake Township. I would like to ask the board and possibly zoning to maybe look into some way we can protect some of the family homesteads that have been here for some time and are starting because people are realizing what they're eating. We are a rural local community. We kind of like to stay that way. It's kind of our heritage. And we have people moving here that want that, but don't understand what it is. And, I mean, we're not Traverse City. And we have what I would call a citiettes moving in to our McMansions and building McMansions here that don't understand that the rest of us grow our own food rather than buy it. So I hear that there are complaints for certain things that shouldn't pertain to them and they should mind their own business. And I would like to see some sort of protection for these homesteads. Thank you.
I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You said,
You did, and I thanked him personally as well.
okay, I'm just checking. That's usually, that goes against your grain, sir.
I call them as I see them.
Okay, it just usually goes against your grain. Thank you. Is there any other member of the public that would like to speak? Yes, dance. I think that was the rule last time.
Was the camera on for that?
But the video was on today. Jill Coverdell, 5648 Runwood Way. I just want to clarify something that I said at the meeting 2 weeks ago, the special one where the budget was being discussed. I was asked if I supported increasing the budget for the deputy treasurer, and I said yes, because I think that at times it requires 2 people in the office. I don't believe it requires it all the time, but at times, especially in heavy tax season, it does. It's my opinion that based on the salaries that were approved for the treasurer, supervisor, and clerk, that represents a full-time job. So it would be my expectation that the treasurer would be present more days than not. And this is not, my support was not to give any feeling that it was supporting Andy able to be out of the office more often and having someone else be there in his stead. So I think the workload requires it, and I also feel that the position should be hourly, not salary, and that budget that he requested should be like a not-to-exceed cap, so that when it's busy, if they have to work longer days to get the tax payments in, deposited, et cetera, correctly, they know that they've got the hours in the budget to do it. But I just wanted it clarified it was not to replace Andy's role in any way, shape, or form.
Very good. Please remain up there if you could. I did forget a report. You are the advisory person to
Do we want to wait till we talk
The
about the
treasurer
postponed
Rex. Yes,
business?
we can do that,
You can
yes.
whistle me back up.
Okay.
We can get the dance
I'll be
again.
happy to give my 2 cents.
If I can whistle a tune to dance you way up. Got it. Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes, we have another individual. Oh, time's up.
And he's up already.
Yes, he did.
Hey, you got a name tag.
Glover, 6811 Galvin Road, Green Lake Township. Last time I was
Could you
here.
repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Robert Glover,
Okay,
6811 Galvin,
thank you.
okay. There was a little bit of discussion last time about the cleanup day. I want to reiterate that, or I want to enhance that a little bit, I guess. I think this board, and you all do a great job. I'm not saying you don't. But there was some discussion about we had to stand around for an hour or so. We had to do this. I don't think people appreciate it. I think all the residents in Green Lake Township appreciate it that show up on that day. I have used it every time, and I would appreciate it if you consider twice. There are workers and employees in this township that have to work hours, and they can't get there on Saturday. I was one of those people. So I was glad to see it there 2 times. And don't think I don't get there early. You said, you know, we waste our time sometimes sitting there for an hour. I get there at 6:30 in the morning, and I've never been first in line, ever.
Yeah,
So
I know.
and when I leave, go out the exit, I have to wait for them to go by so they'll let me out. So I know there are a lot of people that really appreciate and use that in this township, and I would hope you would keep it and maybe expand it to 2 times a year. It would certainly help out those people that are working from the midnight shift, and then they got to load up everything and be able to get there in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the public that wishes to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to discussion. Is there any discussionable items amongst this board? Being that it's fresh in your mind, I do have comments in regards to listening to the cleanup day comments. We did amend our budget to,
And your time is up.
And you're done.
to address a second cleanup day. And I also want to reiterate, last year was a, what do they call it, a trial that our zoning administrator, who just got a kudo not too long ago, Mr. Hamilton and Mr. Volkening, they assembled a crew volunteered with personnel and trailers to go out to the individual places that were unable or did not have the ability to utilize their cleanup day. So they started on a Friday and gathered up at locations that they couldn't afford to pay attention per se, or that they had to work, or they were disabled at that particular moment. So I believe it was very successful. I've heard nothing but positive aspects or comments out of that activity, and I'm looking forward to perhaps doubling up this year in the event that this board proceeds with pursuing a second day cleanup. We do have time to put a request out there, because each cleanup is roughly $18,000, and if we pay for some additional help to ensure that it goes smoothly, that's an additional $1,000 to $1,200 on top of that cleanup day. So that's just something that we will take a look at and see what the feelings are. That's my discussion. Any other items that could be brought up under this time under discussion? Great, hearing none, we'll move on to correspondence. At this point, I have no correspondence to report. Does anybody else have any correspondence? Very good. Next item will postpone business, and with that, I'm going to whistle Jill up to the podium and turn it over to Andy for his presentation in that response there, and have Jill as a resource. Mr. Merrick.
I just wanted to point out that Jill has been spending an extraordinary amount of time and probably wants her life back at some point, no longer tied to Green Lake Township, and she's done it at zero cost to the residents. She has not input anything in the computer. She is not responsible for any of the numbers. She has simply been an advisor to me to assist me in understanding the principles of accounting. So she can't and shall not or should not be held accountable for any of the numbers that are there. Those are me putting those in. I think it's important everyone knows that. Also, we are getting very close to having the tax account halfway done. We do have everything else current. The tax account has proven to be a little more challenging than we anticipated, and there's a number of factors behind that. Jill said she had some stuff she wanted to share with the board. I will turn it over to her, and then if you guys have any questions, I can, or Jill can, attempt to answer them for you.
Very good. Jill?
Yeah, so this morning I went over a 3-page kind of memo of concerns and observations that I've had and various things of what I've been working with Andy on, some more critical than others, but there's best practices that can be put in place. Some Andy's already put in place that we discovered along the way that will help with the processes. The tax collections is probably the most problematic right now. I think there needs to be more education obtained as far as how to best utilize BS&A when a tax payment is made, posted, deposited in the bank. Because right now the complexity on this tax account is the entries coming across, hitting the general ledger or the trial balance aren't a one-to-one match for what then is showing in deposits in the bank. So we might have a deposit in the bank that we're hunting for like handfuls of receipts on half a dozen different entries that have come across. So it's been very complicated to do. There is a better methodology. Andy's already put some of that in place for the other accounts of how to do deposits and receipting and whatnot. But the tax needs to be addressed lickety-split, because we're, it's the 10th of June, we're 21 days or 20 days out from tax season starting. So there just needs to be an understanding of how it all works and how all the pieces come together. The township is a most bizarre business structure in that there's no one really in charge, and there's not really an accounting person that totally understands how this all works. So it's going to have its speed bumps and its hurdles and obstacles, but the more, everyone can work together of how can we do this best and most efficiently? Because the last thing you want is to get in the same kerfunkel that we've been trying to get out of in the last 3 months that I've been helping Andy, again next year. That shouldn't be tolerated. And I think the whole tax receipt side is critical. That's where the biggest volume of money flows into the township, and the money flows out to the various taxing authorities for whom we're collecting money and dispersing it, the Beta, the libraries, the schools, et cetera. So, there's a lot of work to do. I was randomly jotting down thoughts. I tend to do that, but I put it in an outline. I'll provide that to Marv and Judy tomorrow also, just so they have it to know what some of the concerns are. So that's kind of where we're at. But I think the recs, in all honesty, once this tax one is fixed, there's still a big entry problem to the tune of $6 million some that needs to be worked through with the CPA firm as to how to fix that, because the opening cash was off. And I think an entry when tax bills open for summer posted backwards or something weird happened, but that needs to be addressed soon. But I think in all honesty, if you're doing things right, using the system to the best of its functionality, these bank recs could always be done before the month's board meeting. Most all of them can be pulled offline or from online. You can pull the statements. If entries are being made done timely as activity happens, like transfers between accounts, do it the day that you make the transfer, don't wait. These should be able to be done within a very short amount of time. I don't think it should take a day to do all of the recs if everything is running smoothly. It's not running smoothly yet. It's much better for all of the other accounts, but this tax account has been a thorn in our sides. And I have extremely limited days going forward that I can offer up to the township. I had not realized this would be a 3-month commitment, which it's turned into. And, Andy and, the whole office, since I now have my temporary badge, that they did as a joke, mind you.
No.
Yeah. I'm in Hotel California. I've checked in, but I can never leave, unfortunately.
The door only unlocks to let you in, not out.
Yeah. So we've got to work hard, but there's got to be the dedication and motivation with the staff or the officials to get this done and get your hands wrapped around it. Otherwise, it's going to remain a mess.
Okay. Yeah, you might have seen us joke or laugh a little bit about this up here. I mean, we are dead serious. We are nothing but elbows and pens and everything else when we're working. This is just a way for us to vent a little bit at this board meeting. Other than that, it's she is a driver. I'm glad I didn't work for her.
She would have fired me in days.
Yeah, but we are taking this very seriously. We are accounting for every penny. So please don't take some of our jovial and our grins out of context. This is very serious because it's my tax money, your tax money, everybody's tax money that's going into this, and that's being, and we want to make sure that it's accounted for. And Jill's been gracious. We've asked her to, as far as her hours go, looked at going rates in that. Tens of thousands of dollars have been donated by Miss Jill Coverdale. She is very patient, very understanding, and she is not biased by any stretch of the imagination. She'll tell you exactly where the chipmunk did it in the woods. Doesn't care who you are. So I'm very grateful, Jill, in that regards there. And with the rest of the board, yeah, there is a lot of due diligence going on. Am I happy about it? No, that it had to get to this point, because it is challenging on another aspect that Jill has learned from sitting in and chatting with me and answering some of my questions that I have in order to develop the next item on our agenda here under the budget or the public hearing process. So I greatly appreciate it. Now, any other questions, comments? Dave?
Nope.
Pat?
Nope.
Paul?
No, not for now.
Thank you. Sherry?
The papers that Andy sent us is through April 30th. Is that how far you are?
I have the April recs. The May recs are done. I just not have time to compile the
The sheet?
sheet that we've got, that Jill put together to make it more understandable to the layperson.
But I think, Sherry, in all honesty, like next month, July should be able to be provided on that schedule to you, you know, especially if the deputy is. June, I'm sorry, June. And I won't be at that meeting. I think I have.
Somewhere else.
Pardon me?
Washing your hair,
No,
sorting your socks.
I volunteer at Michael's place, and I have a group that I facilitate that night because we shifted it for Cherry Fest. It's normally first and third week of the month, but we shifted it, so I won't be at the July meeting, so you'll be on your own for that one.
So you'll submit a written report. Oh, that's right, you're not staff.
And I ain't volunteering ever again, you know. No, I'm happy to have offered up my service and time, but, you know, I just need to bring it to a close because I need to get my life back.
Okay, anything else, Sherry?
Nope. that's
Judy?
all.
Nope.
I said my piece, thank you.
Thank you,
And I just want to add that we're looking at $24 million worth of tax account, and she's holding me to the penny.
Okay. Anything else in the Treasurer's Bank Rec section?
If she gives you a 3-page report, send it to us too.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? With that, we'll move on to the airport manager follow-up. Dave has been involved in this, and I think we finally got one resume today.
Right, so
So we'll proceed when,
we had 3 names, we had 1 resume. Apparently you say one of the guys withdrew, so we really have 2 names, Anderson and
Reichard or whatever.
Reichard.
Yeah, from
And
Long Lake.
You had suggested to me that maybe Anderson really would take the job temporary, but now he has formally said he wants it permanent, which is the first I've heard of that. So he gave us a resume. Did you pass that to these other guys today?
No, not yet, not until we sit down and,
Okay. So now we have 2 people who seriously want the job. I sent an email to Anderson, who's the son of Jim Anderson, but he lives in Spring Lake. So they're both qualified people, except one's 5 minutes away and one's 2.5 hours away.
yeah, one certified and the other one can be certified.
So again, our airport's small, it's not a lot of heavy lifting, it's not a super thing, but.
We just need
So that's what
signatures
we
4
got.
times a year.
What's that?
We just need signatures 4 times a year.
No. Like the guy said, if a tree falls down or the lights are burnt out, and he can go check in 5 minutes to see what the deal is, the guy in Spring Lake can't get here in 5
Oh,
minutes.
normally, because they have Joe or Roy go
I
and
was
take
going to
care of
say,
that.
he doesn't, the airport
I'm just
manager
saying,
yeah.
doesn't do that.
I understand.
We got one guy who's local, one guy who's not local, so that, they're
Yep.
both qualified if you ask me. So I don't know. I guess
We'll
Mara
talk
and
to
I will
him and
come
see,
back with
yeah.
something for you next month.
Yep.
But today we got a final resume for the other guy.
Did you post it somewhere since last month?
No,
It was on our website.
we got 3
Yeah, regards.
applicants from when we did post it. We're not posting it every
Yeah.
damn month.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else? Any other questions? So we just got that today. Oh, the apologies to the board, so we haven't had time to sit there and have candid discussions with either candidate in that
That's going to go,
regards there.
that's going to go through the committee for hiring, right? And
Yeah,
then bring
that's
us the
Dave and
final,
I.
so we don't need to see everything before you guys do your
Yep.
There's only
interviews.
2. It's not like we're sorting through piles.
Yeah.
The day is not over.
Anything else? Okay, with that,
Can I say something? Because Andy just made a comment.
yes, ma'am.
All the time we've been hiring in that, all the board wanted to see the resumes that come in. Or Andy said we didn't need to see anything because the committee.
Yeah, we always,
have it.
we're gonna send it on no matter what.
I said until they bring it to us.
Oh. Yep, you'll receive, that's my learning experience from being, having discussions with me, that we'll bring everything forward, but the committee will bring its recommendations.
I don't want to keep seeing a resume here and a resume there. I want the whole packet from the hiring committee at one time. I think that makes more sense.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is new business, budget amendments. In your packet, you received, thankfully, only a page and one extra, I believe, of budget amendments.
Only, that's bigger than most years, isn't it?
Well,
We learned our lesson last year.
yes, from our auditor, even if it's $1 over, we will amend that budget to accommodate and address it in accordance with the Uniform Chart of Accounts and Department of Treasury. So we sat down, Pam and Judy went through and made notes of deficient budget centers and particular budget lines that was drafted and brought forward to where Andy and I sat down and reviewed each one and tried to anticipate any future bills that we will incur from the time that these amendments were proposed to June 30th, 11:59 p.m.
59.555.
Yeah, and some of the bills we will receive in July and perhaps as late as August, I believe. We've had them before. We're trying to anticipate those bills, build them into this existing budget amendments to ensure that we are not in violation and then we're in compliance.
This is for the bills that we use the service now. We may not receive the bill until middle of July. We think on June 30th everything's good, but we know there is some money that we're going to be charged yet that goes on to this fiscal year. So if we're not budgeted appropriately, we get dinged by our auditors, and that's not good. And Marv does not like getting dinged for a penny.
Well, I view this as a technical compliance.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping, so I'll make the motion that we adopt those that was provided in the list dated June 8th.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Baganowski, supported by Merrick, to amend the budget dated June 8th. Paul?
Yeah, so, here we have, it's like they're all adds to different line items, and I take it we're, okay, all from increasing the fund balance. So we're decreasing the fund balance, adding to these budget line items,
Yes.
which I've just been going through.
And some of the budget centers are plenty good, and they'll add to the fund balance.
Yeah,
And last year, I tried cutting it close, where I anticipated down to $1, and I was wrong. I was off by a few dollars. So this year went, okay, we're gonna ensure that we're not off and that we don't get noted on the state audit report.
so, you know, it looks generally okay. We're already, in the approved budget, we're negative 16,875, and this would look like, I didn't add it up yet, you know, I don't know what, 150,000, I don't know what this is here.
Yeah, we still got revenue coming in. We did not amend that budget revenue. We still got 120 in revenue sharing. We got some other revenues coming in.
18 just came in today from Metro, I think.
Okay, so we did get some revenue, so that has not been accounted in there. Because our expenditures have to be accounted for. Our revenue is, we're pretty safe with that. Well, I feel we're very comfortable with that. We'll end up in a pretty good black because of the donation.
So, 101, 704, wages part-time, adding $25,000, but I don't really see that it's off by much at all. What are you planning on for that? Is there?
That's the one that covers our cleaning lady, who we just found out is raising her rates. And that also covers part of the maintenance people, too. Joe Johnson.
So we're gonna be pretty far behind. Okay.
And some of the premiums, we anticipated going up. We underestimated, obviously.
Right.
Even though we saved some money, we didn't anticipate, because the increase goes on age of the individual rather than budget year, so.
It looks good. I mean, you need the safety net you've got to get out of this budget without readying, so.
Yes.
Well, and if you look, Paul, if you look at the 704, currently, the current activity is 89,576. We only authorize 70,000.
Yeah, and I was looking at the wrong line item.
Oh.
So
Well,
that'll get
yeah,
us
we have,
where we're
what,
supposed to be.
48 pages of a lot of lines.
Oh, looks good. Thank you. That's all.
Any other questions, comments? Pat?
Do we need to, on the village roads, do we need to transfer another 5,000 to eliminate our?
Where are you at, Pat?
Page 47 of 48. Looking at the actual activity we've got for this year, with a deficit of $4,552.
That will be corrected with a general ledger entry. That was money taken out of that account inappropriately.
Yeah, we are set with the village roads and that stuff there. Yes, we have to, this will be the last year for our corrective action plan in that regards. Paul warned us about this several years back, if I recall correctly. And just the way it worked out with the 1 year short on the spread and that, so we are looking good. This will be the last of it. And Trent, our auditor, is already aware of it, and so we are prepared for the corrective action plan statement, which we've already taken care of, but we just have to have that written letter for the state.
Well, it looks like we transferred a little over 29,000, but that still leaves a deficit, so you're not worried about that?
No, nope, at this point.
Okay.
And we did our final payment in March, so it's finally paid off.
So what happened, Marvin and I've talked about this, like we talked about as a board over the years, is that people would sell their house, we had a 20-year special assessment back here in the village. As some people sold their houses, they paid off their assessment. Could have been 19 years ago. So this money was accumulating, and we were talking to Trent back in the day about when we get enough of it, or if the house sold, they paid off the special assessment. So basically, we accumulated a lot of money to use and get some interest on, but we were probably getting 0.5% interest, unfortunately, while we were paying interest on loan. And instead of paying down the loan early, this is the outside of not having a bond or a basic loan like this. So
Yeah.
it got upside down a bit.
Yep, so it's been looked at, it's been corrected, and lesson learned. Hence, when we did for example, the Bush Road Special Assessment, we did the odds and percentage payoff early and calculated the payback with that being done, and so far we are definitely on track. So we were very conservative on that.
Yeah, you do these projects and, you may special assess in November and begin to collect the money, but usually the project's gotta be done before you collect it, because people just get upset about that. So you may be carrying interest for a year.
Yeah, and we are one of a few townships in the area that actually consider special assessment districts. Blair has one. That's their EMS, I believe. They don't do roads, they don't do this, they don't help the neighborhoods when they're requested, which is, you know, we're not obligated to do SATs, but as a service to our residents, we do.
And, you know, again, I personally believed in it because we did pave a lot of roads in this township. They would have been dirt, they would have been not very desirable. And we're taking care of some maintenance on ones that's something that is really, a lot of people won't touch, but
Yeah,
the residents, you know, even though they may come in and scream at you, they appreciate it.
May? I think you underestimate that, Paul.
Weekly basis.
And Pat, I did look at that account today, and that is at zero.
I'm just worried about getting dinged. If you don't think you're gonna get dinged, then I'm good.
What's your thoughts on that, Judy? Geez, I thought we covered it.
It
and
should have shown
we
no
were
activity
5,000
on
in
there.
the black. In the end, I thought.
Well, I'm thinking we were, so but I don't know what the treasurer's office has been doing.
That was a check that was written out. That is nothing the treasurer's office thinks so.
Okay, so we have approved budget. 18.
That was the one that you guys corrected that 2 weeks ago. So I'm not sure why it's showing up on here, but it does show up as zeroed, as being zeroed out. They came out of the general fund. The 101-001-00 account.
Well, in order for Pat, I mean, Pat has a question on it. I'm not going to disregard that.
Right.
And the way it looks, you believe the deficit could be $5,760. Well, $5,760 plus $29,519 light, correct? Looking at,
Are you looking at this number?
He's
here,
looking
Pat?
at the
Looks like we
4552.
did a transfer.
oh, you're looking, okay.
He's looking at the interfund transfer
It's a
out.
weird entry. It's entered as a negative expenditure.
29,519.
I was looking at the wrong page.
I mean, it looks like. we
And that
did
was the-
transfer from the general fund. But it's-
Yeah.
Well, that's the last check that was written from you? Okay.
So,
Check for the last payment on the bonds,
yes.
and it hit the Village Road account, but it really needed to come out of general because the Village Road bank account didn't have any money left in it.
Okay, that's what I figured, so that's why the numbers are there.
Yes,
Got it.
And it just got fixed through a journal entry.
Right.
Andy and Judy worked together on that.
Judy actually told me about the oops, and
Okay.
Well, the question is, do we have to amend the budget? And he says it's zeroed out. We don't have to amend the budget patch to be happy.
Right, that's.
Are you happy,
zeroed out.
Pat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, no, it's a good valid question, and I see why now, because it went in, but it went the other way.
Yep.
Should have went one way and went the other.
It looked like all these adjustments are so, we're not running deficits in any of these spots. It just looked like a remaining
Yes.
shortage.
Yeah, we're familiar with that activity. So,
she could probably tell you the account number too.
okay,
You guys are good, I'm good.
very good. In regards to the budget, before open up for a public hearing, I would like to take note that Andy
Do we have a
came.
vote on that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call, yes.
Radke,
Yes.
West,
Yes,
McDonald,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
And Kramer. Yes. I forgot who I
Okay.
was.
Now, the next one would be open the budget public hearing. I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing,
I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing at,
6:28.
sure, 6:28.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by Biondo, open the public hearing at 6:28. Any discussion, or all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Before we offer it for public input, there's been some clarification amendments that were discovered today, and I can walk us through them if it's possible. It's not many. Page 1, third line from the bottom, interest. After reviewing the work of the treasurer's office and that, from historical, we've earned roughly $2,300, $2,400 in interest. The last 2 years, we've are earning interest in the rate of roughly $19,500 on average. So I'd like to increase that interest line to reflect $19,500 rather than the $2,391.
In the requested budget.
Yes, in the requested budget for 25-26.
19.5?
Yes, 19,500. The treasurer, Mr. Merrick, believes that that is definitely attainable. Might be on the light side, but however, we're going to go on the light side on the revenues. So therefore, we can turn to basically page 9 of 48. If everybody's following along with the budget, page 9 of 48, this draft budget reflected $13,965 in the red. With that correction noted, it brought us back into the black of estimated fund balance in the black of $3,145, which in turn would estimate the year end of 25 a fund balance adjusted in the positive to $700,084. And if you turn
Rattle that one off again? That's $7,000.
$784. $700,084.
Okay, then if you go right to the back to the last page, this is a culmination of all budget centers that we have. That includes special assessment district, fire, ambulance, our general fund, et cetera. The fund balance net of revenues appropriation of all funds, we have $46,870 in the black on the budget. On our $3.9 million budget, there's roughly $46,000 that we have not allocated. So with that being adding to the $46,870 for the year-end fund balance would bring a total of $3,906,041 as a overall fund balance for the overall budget.
What page are you on?
Last page.
48. So what's your total again? The three?
$3,906,041. I think I used a calculator on this one, Pat.
He did, I watched him. Twice. I've learned you do it twice to make sure it's right.
Yes. The third line up that has written numbers, $43,725. We'll add the $3,145 that we increase our Fund 101, general fund. We'll add that to that particular number, which brings it to $46,870 that's been unallocated on a $3.9 million budget. So that is the information that I have. I don't believe I have any other corrections. I'm hoping the members of the public were able to follow along.
Mark, go to page 24 on the bottom. Because when we looked at our last budget, you circled a number saying, oh, this isn't right, but it's still the same as it was last time, so nothing changed.
24, that would be the Strawberry Point funding. Yeah, because that's the capital that was placed in by the auditors.
All right, so you're just gonna leave it?
At this
As
point,
is.
yes.
Okay.
We're dealing with,
We're good.
yep, went through and got the actual revenue, I believe. I got that number from Jill and Andy. In that,
From Andy,
in that
with
account.
Jill's
I'm sorry.
assistance and
Yes.
input and guidance.
From the treasurer and his advisor. So, yes, that's going to be addressed and clarified, setting up a meeting with Strawberry Point. And now that Strawberry Point has made some comments and questions, Bush Road people are having the same questions and comments. So I get to meet with 24 of those lot owners as well, to go over their budget.
We're on the budget, Marv.
Yep. With that being said, This will be a public hearing to discuss the budget and a truth and taxation hearing as well, action. So is there any member of the public that would like to ask questions, clarify questions, make recommendations, or any other statements? Please go to the podium, state your name and address, and direct your comments towards this board. Okay. Hearing none, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing on our budget.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing at 6:35.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by McDonald, to close the public hearing at 6:35. Any discussion? Is this a roll call? Or all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Though,
I think it is a roll call. I think Paul's.
okay, we're being requested to do a roll call, Judy. I'm sorry.
This isn't his fault this time.
Or last.
McDonald,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes, motion carries. The hearing is closed. Thank you. The next item on our agenda would be action on the public hearing, which would be to adopt a budget for the fiscal year 25-26, effective July 1st, 2025. Before we proceed with that, last year Dave made a comment and Jill also made a valid comment that I recall vividly at their last budget hearing, is the truth in taxation. We had to indicate our millage that we are collecting in our entirety at the township level. With that, we have derived our millage rate from our 4029 that we has to be filed with the county, and that we received this authorization from the county. The allocation of the township operating millage is we are authorized to collect 1 mill, but due to the Headley rollback since November 5th, 1974, instead of collecting $1 for every $1,000 assessed, we are now collecting not to exceed 66.49 cents. So we are only collecting 2/3 of what we are lawfully allowed to collect. That's allocated. Now our voted millages, fire and ambulance, which started 11/7 of 17, started off at 1.93 mils. Because of the Headley rollback, we are now to collect not to exceed 1.8094 mils. Our voted ambulance ALS service, which was approved by voter November 6, 2018, request was 0.95 mils. And due to the Headley rollback, we are now collecting not to exceed 0.9060 mils. And our voted EMS debt, that is not impacted by the Headley rollback, so we are still collecting the allocated amount that was voted upon of 0.6 mils.
State for the record that these are copies of these are at the meeting on the board.
Yes,
Judy provided these.
correct. So, and with the millage rate that we voted in, 1 mil is $1 for every $1,000 value. That's what 1 mil equals. So, so it's a partial on some of these. So noted that for the record for the truth and taxation hearing. That is our millage allocation strictly for Green Lake Township, which amounts to, thank you Pat for correcting math, 3.9803 mils the township collects out of the millage, the tax bills that everybody pays. So just a small portion of that sticks with the township for, as a majority of its fire, ambulance, EMS, building debt. So with that, anything else from the board? We can move on to, we have a resolution to take appropriate action on the appropriated budgeted funds. Resolution number 06102025.1.
Marv, I just want to
You got to vote on the budget first. Action on
Oh,
public.
I'm sorry, yep. I babbled and babbled, just trying to transparent, my apologies. Is there a motion to adopt the budget for fiscal year 2025?
I make a motion that we adopt the budget as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Kramer, supported by Biondo, to adopt the budget as amended. Any discussion?
My only issue is looking at that $700,000 in fund balance on the 101 account of our board. That's a fairly large amount of money we're holding. I think next year we need to look at what we can do for that. I mean, I when I was on the road commission, when I was on the library board, I looked at with a couple other board members trying to keep our general fund at a smaller percentage than that. That seems to me a
Where are you
bit
at?
high.
I don't know what you do.
Page 9 of 48. The number we just amended from 696,939
Okay.
is now at $700,000, almost $750,000 that we're sitting on. We're holding. Now, we do need to have some in the
Marv always
reserve.
tells you what MTA recommends, there's a percentage, right? What is that, Marv? And we're
It
there,
goes
right?
from
100%.
25 to 45%, which we've always taken action that we try to maintain somewhere in the neighborhood of a 50% fund balance to ensure that we can continue to operate.
Do you know what this number comes out to this year?
Well, if we
Well, our
have,
auditor will tell us whether he feels we should do
No, the
something with the money or
percentage.
not.
Well-
What's our
Right, well,
percentage?
he gives us the percentage when he gives us the audit, not
Yes.
the
It's
treasurer.
around
and
50.
normally I do a math, like right now, we have a $1.695 million budget.
It's about,
So you got 700,000, it's a fund balance.
Yeah, so, okay.
So that's 1.4 million, that's 50%.
It's less than 50, it's more
Yes.
than 38.
Yes.
Okay.
And some of this money, yes, I don't like to be the Bank of Green Lake Township. I believe the tax money should be, the money should be used that we receive. If we don't use them, it should be given back to the taxpayers in that regards. However, whoever's driven into the township parking lot, that parking lot is gonna need some TLC real quick. Looking out here, you can see what we have. We have a couple gravel spots and asphalt breaking, so we're anticipating that will need to be repaired. We're hoping it can be repaired, not
Andy's
replaced.
expressing his sentiment that he
Yeah.
thinks it may be getting up there, so
Yep.
accept it. I mean,
Okay,
41%.
41%?
which 50% or better, I've always tried to keep in mind that out of these 4 millage rates that we just saw here, one being a bond, only the top one will we collect on the winter tax bill. The other ones will only go into special funds. So we'll get paid maybe $285,000 once a year. So we gotta float everything else. You know, we do get the
Revenue.
revenue sharing, we have other incomes
Right.
coming in and out, but.
And
yeah,
that
you
could
kinda
change
get
at
paid
any
once a
time.
year. It's kinda like tough to float everything that long.
Yeah.
Before we voted on this, I wanted to make sure that I expressed that I think the fund balance is getting a little high, and we might need to look at that for future years.
Okay. Any other questions? Dave?
So I just want to be clear, we put Andy's placeholder in for deputy treasurer at 48,000. We haven't spent it, we haven't hired anybody, we're not doing any of that, it's just a placeholder. I'm done.
Yep. Any other comments, questions? We're still on taking action on adopting the budget, right? Okay, I just want to double check.
I think
You're
I
in
fell
charge,
asleep.
Marv, what the heck?
Roll call, please.
Radke,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski,
Yes.
Kramer, yes.
Motion to adopt the budget for fiscal year 25-26 has been adopted. Thank you. Next item would be the appropriation of budgeted funds in resolution number 06102025.1.
At this point, I'll make the motion that we adopt resolution that you just numbered.
Second.
We have a motion by Baganowski, supported by West, to adopt resolution 06102025.1. Any discussion?
Is this
Pat.
something?
Yeah, I believe that the motion, or the resolution is defective as written because statute requires that we specify the millage rates and the purpose of
was the argument we had last year. There was actually a blank line that we didn't have, so Marv whipped out the things, but now they're not in the resolution.
Well, we can reference in accordance with L 4029.
Is that the form?
Yes, top right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then we should also incorporate our adopted budget by reference as part of this resolution, because that has all the specifics, and the statute requires that we have some of those specifics in the resolution.
Okay, so if we add at the bottom, in accordance with the budget adopted for 25-26 and outlined in 4029, in the Form L29, or 4029.
So does it read, whereas?
It'd be after the now therefore, but the whereases don't mean anything.
Yeah, it'd be therefore.
So after the therefore, and I'll amend my motion to incorporate what Marv just babbled about.
Okay, that the millage rate is 3.9802.
As
Yes.
shown on Form L 4029,
Yep.
and that the budget that was just passed this meeting is incorporated.
Yeah.
A reference.
Does
Which-
that satisfy it, Pat?
Which is a 3.9803.
I think that gets done.
Okay. Everybody understand the clarification?
It's important that Judy understands that I wrote it down.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, don't make me repeat it.
What are you boys reading from?
They're just making it up.
Well, I was going to say, send us a copy of whatever.
Well, it'll be in the minutes, plus I'll change the form next year.
Yes.
Year.
There's a statute that says what's supposed to be.
It's MCL 141.436.
Can you shift
It says certain things need.
It's that budget resolution?
Oh, no, I've got all of that, but
Yeah.
Pat and Dave are reading something else, where you said L something.
L 4029, that was on your desk?
Right?
Yep.
Got that.
That's what they're incorporating, that's what they're referencing.
Incorporating that in.
Yes, the
What's
millage
your-
rate of
What's your
3.
MCL that you're looking at, Pat?
141.436.
I'll send it to everybody.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussions? Roll call, please.
McDonald? Biondo?
Yes.
Merrick?
Yes.
Biganowski?
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke?
Yes.
And West?
Yes.
Okay, then next item, motion, resolution considered adopted. Next resolution, 06102025.2, would be the Township Board meeting schedule. Everybody had a chance to look at that? If not, if there's no questions or comments, I would entertain a motion to adopt said resolution.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 06102025.2, setting the schedule for the town board meetings
Second.
as presented.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by McDonald, to adopt resolution 06102025.2, the Township Board meeting schedule. Any discussion?
Did
Hearing
y'all
none.
check the dates to make sure I was right?
Yeah,
I trust
we're
you.
gonna meet those dates anyways. Roll call, please.
Biondo?
Yes.
Merrick?
Yes.
Biganowski?
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
And McDonald?
Yes.
Consider the resolution adopted. Thank you.
This one you, Pat.
The next item is resolution 06102025.3, which is a depository resolution which we're required to adopt annually. Is there any discussion on this resolution, Pat?
No. I think we need to strike in between the two paragraphs. It says Act 20, PA 1943 as amended through December 31st, 1997. I don't think that's supposed to be there.
No.
That's, all right.
Well, you ruined my thunder, Dave, because I was going to say anything else, Dave.
Yeah, that carried through. That was just a reference.
What is that
Whatever
act?
somebody copied and pasted.
Okay.
Huh?
What is that act reference?
I attached the act.
That
It's in your
references
board backup.
Our next resolution, the investment.
That goes to the investment one, okay.
Yeah. Okay, does everybody understand what Pat's statement was, is to remove that line of PA 20?
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 06102025.3
As
as
amended.
presented with the amendment of removal of the Act 20 PA 1943 as amended through December 31st, 1997.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by McDonald, to adopt Resolution 06-102-025.3, the depository resolution as amended. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Merrick.
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke.
Yes.
West. McDonald.
Yeah.
And Biondo.
Yes.
Consider the resolution adopted. Thank you. The next resolution is 06-102-025.4, the investment resolution, which is another required. Any questions or corrections on that, Pat? I mean, any questions on that from this board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt said resolution. I would move that we adopt Resolution 06-102-025.4, the investment resolution as presented.
Support.
We have a motion by Radke, supported by Merrick, to adopt said resolution. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yeah.
Biondo.
Yes.
And Merrick.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. The next item is the salaries and wages to be set. We have a wage sheet here. Any questions or comments in that regards? Please
I'd like
pay
to make-
heed.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the salary resolution, and I would like to add to that salary resolution that we agreed to move the deputy treasurer from a salaried position to an hourly wage of $25.25 an hour.
Everybody follow that? So adopt the salary and wage sheet with the correction of the deputy treasurer being removed from salary to hourly, and the hourly rate in the amount of $25.25.
Second.
I would like,
We have a motion by Kramer, supported by West, to adopt the salary and wage sheet with the noted correction for the position of deputy treasurer in the amount hourly of $25.25. Any discussion?
I would ask that that is effective August.
I was going to say
I wasn't
July
ready.
1st.
I wasn't ready for this. I did not expect this, so I did not. August 21st, or oops, August 11th.
I was going to do effective July 1st.
I think the township will get a better deal on the pricing if they wait until August 11th, as that will be when I'm going to be out of the office on my vacations time frame, so we'll be paying more per hour. But if you want to do that, that's fine.
I think it should
I say
fit
July
with it.
1st, so it runs with our year.
Yeah, with our budget.
I'm fine with that. I just thought fiscally would be more responsible, but that's fine.
Any other discussion? Comments? Hearing none?
That was 25-25, I'm sorry, I was.
Yes, it was 25-25.
Perfect, thank you.
So roll call on that motion, please.
Kramer, yes. Radke.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
And Biganowski.
No.
Okay, motion passes. The next item on our agenda is the downtown development, our DDA proposed budget. Mr. McDonald has been involved in this particular exercise. So if you have any questions or comments, please make a request of him to see if he can clarify it for you. We do need to adopt a DDA budget as required.
Can I ask, this light up the interlocking, is the DDA gonna sponsor it all now?
We're not sponsoring it all, but this particular year, we're making a fairly significant sponsorship, I guess you call it, that we do not plan on repeating requested $52,000 contribution towards the light up interlocking. We reduced that by 10,000 down to 42,000. And there's gonna be there primarily to expand across the road to the credit union area and perhaps the dental area and the Olson's lot south of the dental property, and make that part of the light show. So it'd be buying the equipment and doing all the work to get that up and functioning.
Well, here it has 63, and you budgeted 42. Is this just what
Yeah,
the organization asked for, or is this what the DDA put together?
the
63 was,
Chamber of Commerce came up with the light up interlocking draft budget. And out of their budget for 63.9, they wanted 52 from us, and we said, no, 42 at the most. And, so that's what that's.
Gotcha.
So who,
So-
and this is only a one-time event. It's been indicated
I mean, they
pretty
will-
firmly that it's not going to happen again next year.
Well, they will ask us for money next year, but it's slowly increased until this one was like a big jump. It was controversial, but,
Did the insurance pay for all the lost lights and that?
that's my understanding, yeah, it did.
Somebody turned it in somewhere? Okay.
So they have had trouble with the current setup that they have. Last year, the tree was half lit for most of the season, or the 3 weeks it's up. And the music, they had issues. Have they discussed the possibility of not extending it until they can get the current situation straightened around?
Yes, it was.
Maybe wait a couple years before and make sure they get that up and running correctly before they add to it?
That discussion was had in front of them, and that message was also delivered after that, that getting it running well is extremely important to the DDA. But yeah.
But we don't tell the DDA what to spend their money on. I mean, we have not done that in the past, have we?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
We've told them.
By
Strongly
by approving
encouraged
their budget.
things.
And I would rather see, we need sidewalks and streetlights. I'd rather see that with that $42,000 than for them to extend the lighting at the corner until they can get the current situation settled in.
and there's a line here that says, this is a different topic, I'm sorry, I'll wait till you guys read this one.
Well, I'm hoping like on this, if we do allocate this fund or this request of the DDA or interlocking light up interlocking, that this money will go towards fixing the other half that did not operate of the light system and the music system. It was noticeable that it was only working 50%.
You and Judy are 180 degrees apart. She says,
Yep.
let's not spend 42 grand on Christmas lights, and you're saying, well, they ought to look good if we do. Well, are we gonna try to tell them?
Well, we get to have the
Spend
discussion.
their money on?
That's, yep, this is what some of the conversations all about.
That's what approving the budget is. Do we approve what they're presenting to us or don't we? And I don't feel that they should be spending the $42,000.
And there's no requirement we rubber stamp what they send us, correct? We have to make sure because they're an extension of us without being us, is that correct? That's why we've got to approve it, so we
We've had this
have,
before, and they end up just kicking it down another month, kicking it down another month, kicking it down another month. That's what happens, right?
Well, we have to, if we don't adopt a budget, then they don't have any budget to operate under and they cannot meet.
But we've done that, we've been in that situation many times, I think with the DDA, haven't we, Pat? We refuse to adopt it?
I think you could conditionally adopt it, adopt it with modifications if the board felt the modifications were warranted, but we'd like to, the stuff need to start happening as far as this light up interlocking goes. They gotta start ordering things and.
That sounds familiar too, where we did a conditional, maybe that's how we strong-armed him.
Yes.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Yep, that came out from here to here.
Let me get this correct. Are you saying that on the, besides the budget on the first sheet, on the back sheet, the workshop for the Christmas display or all, is that 52,000 changing to 42,000?
Correct.
Okay.
But that's just a made-up thing anyway. We don't even need to see that.
Yeah,
That's their business.
That's not a DDA document, that's a chamber document provided to the DDA.
Okay.
To create the
Requesting.
DDA budget.
But that's why it falls through to the budget worksheet on the previous
Yeah, there's a line item
Yes.
called community promotion. The only things on it is light up interlock.
42,000.
Yes.
And are we still asking some questions? Economic development, 250,000?
That's the trail.
That's all trail.
Yeah, that's all trail.
Okay, that was gonna be my question.
Two
What's that?
sections of trailer getting close to starting, and the bridge section from the school to the Center for the Arts, and then the initial section between the Township Airport and Vagabond Road. We're planning on spending some money, trying to raise some money, matching money, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we're meeting with the contractor next week as DDA rep. Well, Pat stopped in along with Mr. Gray of the DDA board, and we're going to meet with the contractor next week to see if we can continue the trail north of Vagabond. That would save mobilization costs, to see how far we can go with X amount of dollars. So, and that's scheduled for the latter part of next week. Just got the call from them this afternoon.
Would the DDA consider taking that 42,000 and putting it towards the trail, which would probably benefit the community a little better?
We consider, I mean, we like helping out with the light up interlock, and
Yeah.
they
Or paying
came
for the
this
whole
year,
thing.
they said the expansion, they wanna buy like a couple of, they call them lifts, that I guess, they got two, they're gonna put their old tree across the road, and the new tree where it's at in front of Tom's, and last year they rented a lift, it was very expensive, so they're talking about buying instead of renting, two lifts, but together about 5,000 apiece. So,
Well, it looks good to me.
You think the community our size should spend $95,000 on Christmas lights with the township providing half of that?
42,000.
No, the budget's 95, or whatever it is. No, it's higher.
63.
No, I'm sorry, 63.
We're
And we were putting in the big
we're
part.
putting 80%.
Oh, okay, you're looking the light up interlocking,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the bottom line of the DDA budget.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
so,
got 95, and,
Yeah, I mean, well, the 250,000 is going toward a trail, so yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty valid. And 42,000 is going for community promotion. That's not unreasonable.
but what we paid for sculptures,
We're paying 65% of the light up. DEA would be paying 65% of the light up. Interlocking.
for this initial, yes, and with the knowledge of not going further, additional monies later on down the road or the next few years. So that
They'll be back
percentage will
next
be.
year asking too.
Yes, they will. They can always ask.
yeah, if it's a chamber project, let them find the money for it. I mean,
The donations look pretty low here. Pat, did you make up the budget, or is somebody else in your organization make it up?
yeah, it's
Mary Jo?
mostly we take the previous year's budget and modify it.
Well, what I
They
would
have a
like to see
treasurer
is
that does
see
that.
the previous year budget, just like we see with our budget. The previous year budget and what you actually spent, and then this year's. Is there a way that they could do that?
Yes, it'd be through our audit. We could take a look at that as well.
Well, when they present it to us, it could be presented that
Yeah,
way.
we could
That's what I'd like to see.
It's just how they print it, you're right.
Right.
They can just print it different. Add a column.
Well, we'll see how this goes. I'll make a motion that we approve the interlocking DDA draft budget as presented.
We have a motion by Merrick to approve the DDA budget as presented. Is there support for said motion?
Second.
We have support by Biondo. Any further discussion in regards to the DDA budget? Hearing none. Judy, could you do us a roll call, please?
Biondo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Kramer, no. Biganowski,
No.
Merrick,
I made the motion, so I have to, yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
and Radke.
No. Motion carries. We'll move on to the next item.
What was the total vote?
4-3.
4-3.
Pat, I hope that you let the DDA know we'd like a little more.
Next item
Detail.
on our agenda is the annual Boom Boom Club request. This is a request to display fireworks in honor of July 4th, Independence Day. Dave?
Yeah, normally I drive this. I look back, in '23, we donated $1,490. Last year, we donated $1,550. This is statutorily one of the things we can spend money on to celebrate our nation's founding. We're at 250 years this year, so I would make a motion that we contribute $17.76 to the Boom Boom Club.
Second.
We have a motion by Baganowski, supported by McDonald, to donate $1,776 to the Boom Boom Club July 4th celebration. Any discussion?
Good job, Dave. I like that.
Will that help that fund balance creep I'm worried about?
Okay, roll call it,
Could
please.
be spent for Independence Day.
Activities, yep.
McDonald,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Biganowski,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Boom to the yes. Motion carries. Next item is Memorial Park cameras. As you recall, last year and the year before, we were looking at adding cameras to the park. And with recent events, with the AEDs that we're trying to get up down there, get the power run, et cetera, adding cameras. There has been at least one heart attack that happened within the last couple weeks. And of course, you know, anyways, the cameras would help facilitate actually what happened. And again, last year we had some activities that the prosecutors requested because there was some bad activity, wooden or steel bad activity that was used on individuals. So this is something that we want to keep track of, and so.
So is there blind spots, you're saying?
Yes.
And there's only 2 blind spots, apparently.
Well, 2 that have activity that were not planned. That seems to have a lot more activity.
How many are out there now?
10.
Not 10? Okay,
So this would make it 12.
yes.
And part of this, the pickleball players still have money left in their fund, so they want to help pay for the one that will cover the pickleball court.
We don't have one covered pickleball?
No.
Can't believe it.
And the other ones for
Well, we
where?
will. The other one will cover the fitness court and also Diamond 2, Ball Diamond
Yes.
2,
Okay.
and the walking path.
I'll make a motion, we approve the purchase of the 2 cameras as presented for the park.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer, to,
Not to exceed $3,842.
to purchase and place 2 cameras in Memorial Park, not to exceed $3,842. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
West.
Yes.
McDonald. Biondo.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Motion carries.
Is that this budget year then?
Yes,
Does our amendments cover that?
yes.
Perfect, thank you.
The next item would be the minutes.
No,
Holiday hours.
Oh, holiday hours, okay. I gotta move my minutes down, sorry. Holiday hours. As usual, typically between Christmas and New Year's, the office staff is not called in. We have that time of closure, and we work out arrangement with the clerk's office and the treasurer's office for receiving taxes and payment of bills. This particular year, it's only 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, the 29th and 30th, that would be making a request to be closed between Christmas
So it'd
and
be
New Year's.
12/24 through 1/5 with those of us using either ESTA or vacation time on the 29th and the 30th.
Yes, only 2 days this year.
'Cause
And one of those 2
Christmas
days
Eve.
we'll be working with the clerk and the treasurer, because we gotta write checks and pay bills, right? And
Correct.
sign them.
Correct.
and I have to be there statutorily for 1 day between Christmas and New Year's.
I'll make the motion to authorize the office staff to be, and have the office, let's try that again. Let's close the office from 12/24 to 1/5/2026, using the 29th and the 30th as vacation days or ESTA days.
We have a motion by Kramer to close between the staff between Christmas and New Year's, December 24th through January 5th, the 2 days that would be typically open to be used as vacation or ESTA days. Support for that would be Mark, Andy, Mr. Merrick. Any discussion? Roll call, please. Or, all in favor?
Yeah, we can. Remember,
Okay. You got next one?
sure. McDonald.
Yeah.
Biondo.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke.
Yes.
And West.
So, but the offices will be open. We just we'll allow staff to enjoy.
It's getting late. I'm getting silly here. Let's get moving.
Okay, fine. Public comment, discussion. Anybody for adjournment? No.
Minutes.
We have the minutes. Okay, I was trying to keep up with you, Sherry. We have the minutes of 5/13/25 that was pulled by
Me.
Merrick.
On page 2, under Treasurer's Bank Reconciliation, there's a spell check got you, Judy. It should be accept, not accept.
What line?
It's middle of the paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4.
On the bottom.
Yep. Or fifth from the top.
Oh, caught up, accept.
Yep.
Okay, accept, got it.
With that correction, I make the motion that we had,
Oh,
you have more?
The other minutes.
Yeah, Sherry's got minutes.
I just wanted to get mine.
That was mine.
okay, let's go to the next.
Let's do the other one.
5/27/25?
Yeah, under public comment, wasn't that Leah Bowery?
No, that was Gourlay.
Wasn't it for her? Because I wrote down Leah Bowery.
We don't have a Leah Bowerly that has to do with Strawberry Point.
Yeah, it was
Gourlay.
It was Gourlay, yes. Oh, yes, I've been reminded of that name today.
She's been calling every day.
Did you guys get the stuff for her?
Yes.
Yes. Anything else?
Can I make
Andy?
my motion now? I make my motion, we receive or accept the minutes of May 13th and May 27th as, or with the one change.
Noted correction on 5:13 minutes, except to
Perfect.
accept.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by West, to accept the minutes of 5:13:25 as amended and minutes of 5:27:25 as presented.
And that was accept. Accept.
Yes.
Accept? Accept.
Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. No. I mean, no, I agree with the minutes receive and file.
Can I ask a question now on the minutes of the 25th? Or
27th?
On page 3, it says that we were going to send something out to our lawyer and have it back by June 10th.
Yes.
Agreement to the lawyer, written comments back.
On the Duck Lake Dam?
On the Duck Lake, yeah, that's still at the county level. And the
Did we
attorneys.
send it to our lawyer?
We sent it to our attorney, and they are talking with the county's attorney.
Okay,
So nothing as of
Hopefully July.
4:45 today.
okay.
But yes, that's still process. Okay. Anything else under new business?
That was it.
Very good. Then we'll move on to the second public comment section. Any member of the public wishing to address this board, I would ask, go to the podium, state your name and address of the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes and direct them towards this board. Is there any member of this public that would like to exercise? Seeing none, I would move on to the second portion of our discussion. Is there any additional discussion that we'd like to take place?
I got one.
Yes, sir.
When I went back to my notes to look at how much we spent on Boom Boom the last couple of years, I looked under public comment from July of 2024, and Jill asked us that we should put our L4029 on our website. So is it on our website?
Yep, it will be on our website, yes.
It will be?
Yes,
Took us a year?
yes.
It was or it is?
It is. Now we're going to have an updated one, because we got one coming in July of 2025.
That's my only discussion. I'm
Okay.
done.
Yeah, so Jill reminds me. Strongly at times.
To the penny.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 7:17.
So moved.
Support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed,
No.
those opposed.
Don't oppose it.
Motion